Welcome to homeschooling. Many times, we all come across families whose children are enrolled in private schools who may boast of their child's school's education philosophy, such as, "My child's school is student-led," or "The school that my child attends is a Montessori school." State or government schools may glorify the education philosophy as schools using words such as education philosophy at our state schools is objective-based or standards-based education. Homeschooling families may also proclaim their education philosophy even louder with words such as "Our education philosophy is unschooling" or classical education. This clearly shows that there are varieties of education philosophies. Education philosophies are frameworks that guide teaching approaches and methods based on certain beliefs about learning and the role of the teacher. Knowing and selecting the education philosophies that is right for your homeschool will also help you select the right curriculum that reflects your choice of education philosophies for your homeschool. In this video, we will take a look at 10 selected traditional or prominent education philosophies that you can consider for your homeschool. 1. Progressivism. Based on the ideas of John Dewey, Progressivism as an education philosophy focuses on real-world problem solving and individual development. It emphasizes learning by doing rather than through rote memorization or passive absorption of information. The key concepts of progressivism are child-centered learning, where students' interests guide instruction, hands-on experiential learning experiences. Teachers act as facilitators, not authoritative figures. Emphasizes critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Learning is an active process shaped by the student needs and curiosity. For example, a progressive classroom might involve projects, group work, and discussions that focus on practical applications of knowledge. The advantages of progressivism are: it is student-centered. It focuses on students' interest, promoting engagement and motivation. It promotes critical thinking. It encourages problem-solving and inquiry-based learning. Learning activities often mirror real-life situations, making learning more relevant. The disadvantages of progressivism are lack of structure. The flexible approach may lead to less discipline and order in the classroom. Challenges of standardization. Less emphasis on standardized curricula can make it difficult to prepare students for traditional assessment. Time-consuming for teachers. Requires significant planning to accommodate diverse student interests. 2. Constructivism. Inspired by Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky. Constructivism as an education philosophy suggests that learners build their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiences and reflecting on those experiences. The key concept of constructivism are: learning is an active, constructive process. Knowledge is constructed based on personal experiences. Teachers guide and provide opportunities for exploration and discovery. Constructivism emphasizes the role of social interaction in cognitive development, encourages children to learn through trial and error, hands-on activities, and collaboration. For example, in a constructivist classroom, students might work together to solve a complex problem, with the teacher offering guidance when necessary rather than direct answers. The advantages of constructivism are: active learning. Students build their own understanding through exploration and discovery. Promotes critical thinking, encourages students to think deeply and make connections with prior knowledge. Adaptable. Lessons can be personalized to the student's learning pace and style. The disadvantages of constructivism are: requires high-skilled teachers. Teachers must guide learning without providing direct answers, which can be challenging. Potential for misconceptions. Students may develop misunderstandings if not carefully guided. Not ideal for all subjects. Works best for subjects that involve inquiry and exploration, but not for those requiring rote memorization. Three, Montessori method. Developed by Maria Montessori. This philosophy emphasizes independence, freedom within limits, and respect for a child's natural psychological, physical, and social development. The key concepts of Montessori are: child-centered education with a focus on independence. The learning environment is carefully prepared to encourage exploration. Children work at their own pace and choose activities that interest them. Teachers observe and guide rather than instruct. Emphasis on self-discipline and intrinsic motivation. For example, in a Montessori classroom, children may choose activities from a set of options provided by the teacher, with materials designed to be self-correcting so that children can work independently. The advantages of Montessori method are: individualized learning. Students progress at their own pace, fostering independence and self-discipline. Hands-on learning promotes learning through physical manipulation of materials, which enhances understanding. Development of soft skills emphasizes social skills, emotional development, and practical life skills. The disadvantages of Montessori method are: costly. Montessori programs can be expensive due to specialized materials and teacher training. Not aligned with traditional testing. The approach may not prepare students for standardized tests or traditional education environments. Lack of focus on creativity. The structured learning environment may limit opportunities for spontaneous creativity. Four, Reggio Emilia approach, originating in Reggio Emilia in Italy. This education philosophy is based on the belief that the children are competent, resourceful, and capable of constructing their own learning experiences. The key concepts of Reggio Emilia are emphasizes self-expression, communication, and collaboration. Learning is project-based and centered on students' interest. The environment is seen as the third teacher, encouraging creativity and exploration. Teachers act as co-learners and researchers with the children. Strong focus on the role of community and parental involvement in education. For example, in Reggio Emilia classroom, children may work on a long-term project about a topic of their choice, using multiple forms of expression like arts, writing, and physical activities to explore the subject. The advantages of Reggio Emilia are child-centered and collaborative. Curriculum is based on children's interest, with teachers acting as co-learners. Emphasis on creativity encourages children to express themselves through art and communication. Strong community involvement. Parents and the community play an active role in child's education. The disadvantages of Reggio Emilia are resource intensive, requires significant time, planning, and materials to create a responsive and engaging environment. Lacks formal structure, less emphasis on predetermined outcomes, which can make it hard to measure progress in traditional ways. Not scalable. It can be difficult to implement in larger or resource-limited classrooms. 5. Waldorf education, Steiner education. Founded by Rudolf Steiner. Waldorf education emphasizes creativity, imagination, and holistic development, intellectual, artistic, and practical skills in a balanced way. The key concepts of Waldorf are focus on imagination and the art in learning, especially in early years. Teaching is tailored to the developmental stage of the child. There is a strong emphasis on storytelling, creative play, and artistic activities. Minimal use of technology, especially in early education. Teachers stay with the same group of students for several years to build strong relationships. For example, in a Waldorf classroom, you might see a lot of emphasis on creative arts like painting, music, and drama, alongside academic subjects. The advantages of Waldorf education are holistic approach, focuses on developing intellectual, artistic, and practical abilities of students, creativity and imagination, encourages storytelling, art, and play, particularly in the early years. Strong community focus. Students often have a close-knit, supportive atmosphere. Disadvantages of Waldorf education are delayed academics. Academics are introduced later than in traditional schools, which may be a concern for some parents. Limited use of technology. Avoiding technology in the early years may leave students less prepared for the digital age. Lacks academic rigor. Some critics argue that Waldorf education does not emphasize core academic skills, especially in the early grades. Six, essentialism. Essentialism is a teacher-centered philosophy that believes in a structured, disciplined approach to learning. It emphasizes core academic subjects like math, science, history, and literature. The key concepts of essentialism are focus on essential skills and knowledge that students need to be productive members of society. Strong emphasis on traditional subjects and factual learning. Teachers are the central authority in the classroom. Learning is measured through assessment and tests. Discipline and hard work are important virtues. For example, in an essentialist classroom, there may be a strict curriculum focusing on reading, writing, and arithmetic, with regular assessment to track progress. Advantages of essentialism are structured learning, provides clear expectations and a rigorous curriculum focused on essential skills. Focus on mastery, ensure students acquire foundational knowledge through repetition and discipline. Prepares for standardized tests. Align with traditional academic standards, making it easier to measure students' performance. The disadvantages of essentialism are teacher-centered, less focus on students' autonomy, creativity, and exploration. Limited critical thinking. Emphasis on factual knowledge can stifle students' ability to think critically or solve complex problems. Less adaptable, may not cater well to students with different learning styles or interests. Seven, perennialism. Perennialism is another teacher-centered philosophy, but unlike essentialism, it focuses on enduring themes and great works of literature, philosophy, and history. It is based on the belief that these works contain universal truths that are as relevant today as they were in the past. The key concepts of perennialism are focus on teaching ideas that are lasting and universal, encourages deep reading and critical analysis of classic texts, strong emphasis on logical reasoning and intellectual rigor. Learning should focus on fundamental truth rather than practical skills. Teachers guide students through philosophical and intellectual discussions. For example, a perennialist classroom may involve reading and discussing classical texts such as works by Plato or Shakespeare, with a focus on understanding their deeper meanings and relevance. Advantages of perennialism are timeless knowledge, focuses on enduring ideas and classical works that foster intellectual development, promotes critical thinking, encourages deeper philosophical inquiry and logical thinking, moral and ethical development, emphasizes the development of character through engagement with classic texts. The disadvantages of perennialism are rigid curriculum, strong focus on Western classics may exclude diverse perspectives and modern knowledge. Lacks relevance. The focus on timeless knowledge may seem disconnected from modern-day challenges or vocational skills. Teacher-centered. Tends to be lecture-based, limiting students' engagement and participation. Eight, behaviorism. Based on the work of B.F. Skinner, behaviorism emphasizes observable behaviors and the role of reinforcement and punishment in shaping behavior. It focuses on conditioning students to learn specific behaviors or skills through repetition and reinforcement. The key concepts of behaviorism are: learning is seen as a change in behavior driven by external stimuli. Positive reinforcement and punishment are key methods for shaping behavior. Teachers control the learning environment to produce desired behaviors. Emphasizes repetition, practice, and reward systems. For example, a behaviorist classroom might use a system of rewards such as tokens or praise to encourage students to follow classroom rules or complete assignments. The advantages of behaviorism are: clear goals and expectations, provides a structured, predictable environment for learning, effective for certain learning tasks, particularly useful in skill-based and repetitive learning. Measurable outcomes. Learning is observed and measured, allowing teachers to assess student progress clearly. The disadvantages of behaviorism are: focus on external rewards, can undermine intrinsic motivation as students rely on external reinforcement, rewards, or punishment. Neglects critical thinking, emphasizes behavior rather than understanding the thought processes behind it. Impersonal. The approach may overlook the emotional and intellectual needs of individual students. 9. Humanism. The humanism focuses on the development of the whole person and views education as a means of fostering self-actualization. It emphasizes the emotional and psychological well-being of students as well as academic achievement. The key concepts of humanism are: emphasis on personal growth, self-awareness, and self-esteem. Learning is student-centered with a focus on individual potential. Teachers provide a supportive environment that encourages autonomy and self-motivation. Education is about developing the whole person, emotionally, socially, and intellectually. For example, in a humanistic classroom, students may have significant freedom to choose their learning activities, with teachers acting as mentors or facilitators who support their personal and academic growth. Advantages of humanism are: focuses on personal growth, emphasizes the development of the whole person, including emotional, social, and intellectual aspects. Promote intrinsic motivation, encourages students to take responsibility for their own learning and goals. Student-centered. Learning is based on student interest, allowing for a more personalized education. The disadvantages of humanism are: lacks academic rigor. The focus on personal growth may come at the expense of mastering specific academic content. Difficult to access. Measuring emotional and social development can be subjective, challenging in large settings. The personalized approach may not be feasible in a larger or more standardized classroom environment. 10. Critical pedagogy. Inspired by Paulo Freire. Critical pedagogy is a philosophy that views education as a tool for social change. It encourages students to question and challenge societal norms, injustice, and power structures. The key concepts of critical pedagogy focus on empowerment and social justice. Encourages critical thinking and questioning of authority. Teachers act as facilitators of dialogue and inquiry. Education is seen as a means of fostering social change and equity. Emphasizes collaborative learning and democratic classrooms. For example, a critical pedagogy classroom may involve discussions on current events, with students encouraged to analyze social, political, and economic implications of what they are learning. The advantages of critical pedagogy are: empowers students, encourages them to question societal norms, authorities, and power structures, promotes social justice, focuses on reducing inequality and empowering marginalized groups through education, fosters critical thinking. Students learn to analyze, question, and critique the world around them. The disadvantages of critical pedagogy are politically charged. Some view it as promoting ideological bias, as it often addresses controversial social and political topics. Focuses less on core academics. The emphasis on social justice issues may detract from traditional academic skills. Requires skilled facilitation. Teachers need specialized training to handle sensitive discussions without alienating or overwhelming students. In conclusion, it is essential to note that depending on the goals of education, the role of teacher, and the needs of students, each of the 10 traditional or prominent educational philosophies offers different perspectives on how to approach teaching. Each philosophy has its own strengths and weaknesses, depending on the context in which it is applied and the goals of the educational environment. Homeschooling parents can integrate multiple philosophies to create a balanced and effective learning environment for children. Thanks for watching our video.